and have given us.
I feel very humbled to be invited here. So I was asked to talk about my experience. Like she said, I currently work for Goldman Sachs, and prior to that, I was in grad school. So I came to the US about 10 years ago to do my master and then my PhD at the University of Illinois. And before then, I got an engineering degree from France. I guess the first topic that I want to talk about is education, the path to education. I remember when I was preparing to go to high school, you had the choice between different majors, so to speak. So you could choose to go into literature or do more science-oriented if your goal was later to be like a medical doctor. And they came to us and presented these different options. And they literally told us that there was this particular major, so it was a combination of math, physics, technical topics, and that no girls would go there because it was so difficult. So basically they were telling us that we couldn't succeed if we chose that major just because we were girls. I don't like this kind of things because me being a girl, I don't see how that is, like preventing me from learning a particular topic. And I guess I like doing things when there is no specific reason that are given to me to say why I cannot do something, then I will definitely try. So that's why I am here today, and I have a PhD in engineering. So I guess the first point that I want to say is that instead of like throwing random reason as you cannot succeed because you are a girl, it's about presenting opportunity to people and giving them the tools to succeed. I've always been in a minority, whether it was in school in France, whether it was in Burkina, whether it was in the US. Being an engineer, a girl in engineering, I was always part of the minority group. And I think even here in the US, they recognize that it's a problem, but at least they know it's a problem and they are trying to fix it. When I was in Illinois, I would go to kindergarten to start talking to students about engineering. We would do fun activities, and these were kids that were very, very young, but we will do fun activities just to introduce them to the topic of science and engineering, and that's how they get interested, and they know that nothing is impossible to them because since they were young, they were very acquainted to the topic, and I think that's what we need, and we do need to have outreach program in place to present people with all the opportunities that they can have, because certainly being a girl should not be a limitation. And we heard some distinguished speaker talking about gender equality. It starts early. It starts when we are young. It starts with education. So we should do something about that. The other thing that I want to say is about information. When you come from Africa, you maybe like it's not even your first language. When I was in France, it was fun, but being in the US, it's not your first language. You are not totally familiar with your surroundings. How the system works is totally different, and there is no program to help you integrate. And I'm not even talking about something very sophisticated. I'm saying, just create a forum where people can come and exchange. They can say, I tried this path and I failed. These were this and that reason. You can think about the other options. And what I'm saying is that create a forum where people can exchange, learn from their mistake, share opportunity, share information. So it's very encouraging, to hear some of the speaker here, whether it's Mr. Abakar or Ms. Diop, talking about putting this type of forum in place. So the other thing that I want to talk about, so I will shift gears a little bit, is about brain drain. Many times I will get asked whether I want to go back sometime in Africa. I will think about it for a second, and invariably my answer is no. And I will tell you why. So the first thing is, I don't see any program that will help me integrate the workforce if I return back to Africa right now. And I did work in Burkina for a year in between my undergrad studies in France. You would, even people who are on the ground, you will see they will graduate with higher education degree, but yet they will be having internship for years and years and years without any full-time prospect. I don't see how that makes sense. I don't see why that should be legal. I think there should be regulation in place that will say, if you are hiring interns for the same job with the same job description, after some time, it has to be a full-time job. That will give more opportunity to young, smart, and educated people to integrate the workforce. But let's say for 1 second that you don't even want to integrate an existing company and you want to create your own structure. Again, there is nothing in place that will accompany you and help you achieve your goals. Many times it's not even about whether you have the skills to do a job, it's about who you know. I don't know about you, but my curriculum didn't include anything about how to suck up to government official. It was about math, it was about business, it was about programming skills. That's what is helping me. And so the reasons for brain drain are very broad. It can be economical, the lack of the low salaries, the lack of career growth opportunities, but it can also simply be the lack of infrastructure. So back in February, I spent 3 days in Burkina. So I literally flew halfway across the world to spend 3 days home. I had to be there for my cousin's wedding, but I could have spent easily a week if I knew that I could work from home. My company offered the opportunity to work from home if I wanted to. But when I sit and I think about, will I even be able to get an internet connection that will allow me to work from home? That is impossible. So I prefer to spend 3 days home, fly back, be tired or whatever it is, but just because I know I couldn't have a reliable source of internet that will allow me to work from home. So if you have this type of issues, then I doubt you will think about going back home and building a business, because you will be cut out of the world, and I don't see how you can succeed with that. I'm talking about internet, but there are issues even like getting electricity. It's like a traffic light in Burkina, or water. Those basic infrastructure, lack of infrastructure, make that when I think about going back to Burkina, I think twice, and always my answer is no. So if I can say anything about brain drain, I don't pretend to have the solutions, but I think that's why we have smart people in the room to at least recognize that there is a problem, brainstorm ideas, and start thinking about implementing solutions. So one thing will be start by implementing infrastructure, start by providing basic commodities to people on the ground, and I think that will be a step in the right direction. Thank you.